then there's the PS4. Yeah. Shit.
Don't mince words, Bones. What do you really think?
Every time I do a pickup video and it comes to the PS4, I dread it because I have stacks of stuff for this console because it is so easy to collect for. You've got limited run games, you've got Play Asia, and there's lots of budget title games that come out that are actually really good but come out really cheap. And there's also lots of great AAA games that come out for this console all the time. So much so that it's actually very hard for me to keep up. I'm not delusional, I know I'm not going to be able to get them all, but there's just so many cool games for this console that it just baffles me. So let's just dive into this mess.
Get on with it.
Call of Duty World War II. This is the newest Call of Duty game as of recording this. There is another one coming out pretty soon. It's Black Ops 4, which I will not be buying because from what I understand, there will not be a single-player campaign.
Man, this is some bullshit!
I hate online with these games. And I played through the campaign of this, beat it. It is fantastic. It is one of the best games in this series. I love where the story ends up going. It gets so damn depressing. But there's like such a cathartic moment towards the end of the game that I almost cried a little. No joke. Star Wars Battlefront 2. I had absolutely no intention of buying this because I bought the original game for the Xbox One. It was one of the few games I was actually excited to play. Turns out it was online only, and I hate those games. Although I did manage to eke some fun out of it because of the aerial flight simulator part of it, where it's like aerial battles where you can play as a TIE fighter or an X-Wing or an A-Wing, sometimes a Millennium Falcon, or even the frickin' Slave One. I loved playing that online, and I dominated that mode of that game. So when I heard all the backlash going on about Battlefront 2, where it's like you had to actually pay to win, people started telling me that, yeah, it's kind of a dud. But then another friend told me that if you just play the game and wait, you will unlock all that stuff anyway. If you want to be elite from the very beginning of the game, yeah, you can go ahead and pay for it. You don't have to. There is a single player mode in this one, and it is a pretty cool story, I will admit. The story starts off right where Return of the Jedi ends, with the Death Star exploding, and there's a group of Imperials, and a couple of them end up defecting because they realize that they're fighting for a crap cause, and it goes in some really cool directions. I really enjoyed the single player. Never really played the multiplayer like at all, so I can't comment on that, but the single player is awesome. Beat the hell out of it. Loved it. One of my favorite games for the PS4 is Horizon Zero Dawn. I picked up the complete edition right before Christmas, and I spent my entire Christmas vacation that I'd taken off of work playing this game, and it took me 3 months to beat it. I took my time. I played through all the content there was in this game. I found as many collectibles as I possibly could. I love the world this game took place in so much I didn't want to leave, and I found the story absolutely fascinating and emotional, and the end of the game is honestly a pretty tearjerker kind of moment, which actually choked me up a little bit. Since this is the complete edition, it has the one add-on that was released for it, the Frozen Wilds. Played through that, then went and finished the game. A friend of mine, who actually talked me into buying this to begin with, my friend Rob that I work with, he beat the game, then went and did the Frozen Wilds, and then he told me what happened. I told him, well, I did it the other way. I played as far as I possibly could without beating the game, then went and did the Frozen Wilds, then went and played the end game. And then characters that you end up meeting and befriending in the Frozen Wilds end up participating in the finale, which is awesome. I absolutely love this game. I hope there's a sequel. Another game in this long-running series, Atelier. I still don't know how to say it. I say Atelier because, like I said, I think it sounds kind of French. Fine, I'll say it. Atelier. Sophie, The Alchemist of the Mysterious Book, RPG. Picked this up at GameStop for like $10. Rogue Trooper Redux. It's like a third-person action game. I don't know what this is a redux of. Is it a PC game? Because I don't recall this ever coming out for any console. So I saw it sitting there. It looked kind of interesting. It sounded kind of neat, so I picked it up. Nioh. It's a game by Team Ninja, makers of Ninja Gaiden for the Xbox. I really wanted to play this because it looks absolutely psychotic. Got a real cheap copy of The Evil Within 2. Haven't opened it yet, though. I still need to beat the first game. Here's a game that Church, the Game Grinder, and Jason of Corpse Flood Gaming have been talking about endlessly online and in their videos and on their podcast, and I said, okay, fine, I'll pick it up. I'll try it out. And that is Nier Automata. It's a sequel to a game that came out for the PS3, which I do own, have not played through it. I hear you don't have to play through that to understand this game. They're completely separate. But I can't get into it. I really can't. I know they think that it's awesome, and more power to them. I just, for some reason, find this extremely boring. And they keep on telling me it takes a little bit of time to get into it. Even Musty Hobbit told me at the Midwest Gaming Classic that I gotta give it some time. Well, you know what? a game really shouldn't expect you to play for 10 hours or more before it starts to get good. It should be good from the beginning. I'm really kind of disappointed in this, even though I hear that it's got like all these different playthroughs that start showing the story from different points of view, and you don't really get the real ending until you've like beaten it like 3 times or something like that. And a friend of mine that came to be a guest on my podcast, The Movie Is Starting, randomly just brought up before we started recording that he was playing this game and he was finding it really hard to find the energy and the willpower to play through it for the 3rd playthrough. And I said, you know what, I've just started playing through that game and I can see what you're talking about because I can't really seem to get into it. And he said, yeah, don't, it's not worth it. So I may or may not continue on with this game. Little Nightmares, the complete edition. I got this at Best Buy for I think $10 or $15. I know Radical Reggie talked about this once and said that it was actually pretty cool. So this has all of the DLC in it already. Here's one that was a talking point for what seemed like months. It's actually just weeks, but it's a remake of a really classic Super Nintendo RPG, and that is The Secret of Mana, which I've never played. I really wanted to back in the day, but it was really expensive, and I never did get around to picking one up. I figured this would be the way to go, because even picking up a copy for the Super Nintendo now is a pretty pricey prospect, so I figured I'd just get this. This was like 20 or 25 bucks, I think. So the price was definitely right. I know Church the Game Grinder thought this was absolutely fantastic. It was a great remake, fixed some of the problems that the original game had. A lot of other people thought it was absolute trash. Seeing that I have absolutely no nostalgia toward the original game, I think I'll be okay. I got this one through that sale on the Square Enix website, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, the Day 1 edition. Got this for I think $10 or $15. I love Deus Ex because I love cyberpunk, so this is right up my alley, and I've been putting off buying this for the longest time. I don't know if there's going to be a complete version of it, but whatever. Here's a special edition that I actually totally forgot about until it was way too late. The Shadow of the Colossus Special Edition. It was up for pre-order. I kept on saying, you know what, I need to pre-order that before it comes out, and next thing you know, it was out. And I was like, damn it. Totally missed out on that. So I was kind of bummed. Tried looking some up on eBay and Amazon. People were already selling it for way higher than it was going for retail. So I said, I guess I'm buying the standard regular edition. And then randomly, I'm checking out Instagram, and of all the places to find a copy of this, Another Castle. That's the video game store that Metal Jesus and Reggie and everyone else that's a Seattle YouTube gamer goes. Kinsey Burke, Kinzilla, who's been on the channel a couple of times, works there. So they posted a picture of all the new games that they had in stock on their Instagram profile, and they said, hey, this stuff is in store right now. If you want it, come and get it. This was pictured, so I said, should I? So out of curiosity's sake, I contacted them through Instagram and I was like, hey, is that available? And if it is, would you be able to ship it to Chicago? And they said, absolutely. And the game looks absolutely breathtaking. I love this game to death. When I bought that Dark Souls 3 at that Toys R Us that I was talking about, where all the games were 50% off, I didn't just get that, I got some other stuff too, like Metal Gear Solid 5, The Definitive Experience. This is Metal Gear 5 Ground Zeroes, The Phantom Pain, and all the DLC, including Metal Gear Online. What? When did that happen? Got this for $15. And at the same time, I bought Street Fighter V Arcade Edition. Another game where I am completely happy that I waited to buy it, because when this was first being released, I did pre-order it through Amazon. And then I found out that it was online only and there was no single player mode. And I immediately canceled that sucker. And I was going to get that one that comes with that Ryu statue and everything. Eventually, Capcom released the single player mode that was downloadable, and they put it out as this Street Fighter V Arcade Edition. There's new characters in this, there's bonus challenges, and there's an arcade mode. We're able to play through the game as if it were the different games in the series, like Street Fighter 2 and 3 and 4. Like I said, so glad I waited, and this is an exclusive for this console, so rad. And the last game I got there was Alekine's Gun, or Alekine's Gun. I don't know how to say it. Whatever, I haven't played it yet. Looks like Hitman. Earthlock Festival of Magic, which is an RPG. It's been in my wish list on Amazon for the longest time. Finally pulled the trigger on it so I can play it because it looks fantastic and beautiful, and I hear it's actually not too long. This is the game I'm actually currently playing on my PS4, and I'm loving every minute of it. Victor Vran Overkill Edition. And it comes with all this extra stuff. There's a DLC that was available for this that is focused on the band Motorhead, which is awesome. The reason I wanted to get this game is because it is a Diablo clone, and I love dungeon crawlers like Diablo. Diablo 3, man, that is one of my favorite games of all time. And this ain't too shabby. It's not as well made as Diablo 3, and the cutscenes are all like still pictures that have kind of crappy voiceovers over them, but the gameplay is fantastic and fun. Lots of loot and upgrading and everything. Like I said, it's an awesome dungeon crawler. You need to play it if you haven't already. I highly recommend it. Here's another game everyone seems to always be talking about. Velocity 2X, the Critical Mass Edition that has all the DLC already on it. It's another game that's kind of a throwback, but it is a throwback that reminds me a lot of The Guardian Legend, which is the game I talked about earlier. It's part vertical scrolling shoot 'em up and part side scrolling action game. Piqued my interest because of that alone. Can't wait to try this one out. This is probably what I play after I beat Victor Vran. Here's another game that I am so glad that I waited on. Injustice 2. This is the Legendary Edition. When it came to the original Injustice and Mortal Kombat X by NetherRealm Studios, they ended up releasing like a complete edition later on down the line that had all the DLC characters and extra challenges and all that stuff already in it after I'd already bought the original version of the game. I wasn't going to be fooled again with Injustice 2. I waited. I was not going to buy that game off the bat because I knew there was going to be plenty of character add-on packs that were going to come out, so I waited, and it is fantastic. This is probably the best fighting game that they've made so far, and I love Mortal Kombat XL. Some of the characters that they did add into this that aren't part of the DC universe kind of were like, what? Did Raiden and Sub-Zero really need to be in here? You have Captain Cold as a character already. Did you really need Sub-Zero? No. I love the fact that Hellboy's in this. I love the fact that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are in this. Did not need to whore your Mortal Kombat characters in this, guys. Really. I mean, just keep them separate. Outside of that, it's fantastic. The story mode is great. Adds on to what the original game built story-wise. It also gives you branching paths. You cannot get a couple of achievements if you don't go through and explore all those different paths, especially when it comes to the ending. I picked the wrong side. You have a choice of picking Batman or Superman for the finale, who you want to play as, and I accidentally picked Superman. Big mistake. Got a very depressing ending. I will definitely play through it again, though, to see what the happy version is. Here's another game from that video I made, the 10 franchises I never played and what I plan to do about it. I had actually bought these before I talked about them in that video, but I did have the intention of playing through them, regardless of that video. Yakuza 0. It's a prequel to all the previous Yakuza games. You play as a really young Kazuma Kiryu, really early on in his career in the Yakuza, and I really cannot wait to play this game. When I do the playthrough of that entire series, which I am going to do, this is where I'm going to start. And I'm going to end with Yakuza 6, The Song of Life. This here is the After Hours Premium Edition. I'm not a big fan of limited editions of games. I don't have the room for these gigantic boxes like everyone else seems to. So I usually just go for the standard edition whenever I can. But because I really do enjoy the Yakuza games, I thought, since this is the final game in the series, maybe I'll just pick this one up. Because I actually liked what came with it. So what is in this? So let's get into a little bit of an unboxing video, shall we? So you slip this off, and you've got this big, cool box right here. You open it up, you've got a series of Yakuza-themed coasters. But that can't be all, can it? It comes with this little bag. What's in this little bag? This pouch has stone ice cubes in it. See where this is going? This is called the After Hours Premium Edition, after all. Ooh, styrofoam. What? There's actually drinking glasses, like tumblers. That is really cool. It has this really cool dragon design on it that is something that you would see like as a Yakuza tattoo. Each glass is the same. So you see why this came with all these alcohol-themed tchotchkes in it. There's a lot of time you do spend in bars in these games. So there you have it. There's also an art book in here. I forgot. If there was one collector's edition I was going to buy, it was going to be this, because it's the final game in the series. Why not? And I can't forget Yakuza Kwami. This is actually a remastered version of the original Yakuza game, and there is actually a Yakuza Kiwami 2 coming out, which is remaster of Part 2. The original 2 came out for the PS2, so by now the graphics are a little bit outdated. So I can see the point. And there are remasters of Part 3, 4, and 5 on the way. 5 was never released physically, so that is rad. I can finally play through them all. And the last game that I just bought conventionally, not through a specialty dealer, I knew nothing really about it. Agony. This just showed up yesterday in the mail. First-person horror game that is so graphically violent and sexually explicit. Yeah, it sounded so disturbingly cool, I kind of wanted to have it. Not that I get off on that type of stuff, I just wanted to play something that would just shock the hell out of me. So basically, you're playing through hell, kind of like in Doom, but this is like hell, where everything is. Yeah. This did not get great reviews. People are actually saying that it's not designed very well and the combat's kind of I don't care. There was no hype level for this for me. I just kind of impulse bought it when I found out about it, like the day it was released, and I said, okay, let's pick this up. So I did, and I can't wait to play through it. So now let's get into the games that were released through like specialty websites. I Am 8-Bit released another game, What Remains of Edith Finch. But it's told in little vignettes that are going to slowly reveal the story of what's going on, but it's also very Lovecraftian from what it sounds like, which is something that I really, really enjoy. I cannot wait to try this one out. So I did get that strictly limited 99 Vitas for the PS Vita. Ah, that's funny! But they also released games for the PS4, and I did manage to pick up Tokyo 42, and it's this weird cyberpunky isometric shooter. It sounded kind of interesting because to me, it sounds like Syndicate. If you can do crazy things in here like you could in Syndicate, I'm going to love the hell out of this. And this other one is a game that I recently played through, maybe like a week ago I beat it, and I enjoyed every minute of it, even though it is extremely short, and that is Guns, Gore, and Cannoli. Being Italian, I should be offended, but I wasn't because it is just too much fun. So picture you're playing as a 1920s gangster with a Tommy gun fighting zombies. It is like playing Contra. It is so much fun. I love it. Signature Edition is another company that releases these like limited batches of games for the PS4. This one is The Count Lucanor. It's a horror game where you play as this kid who's running through a vampire's castle, and it looked really cool. I thought it sounded really interesting, so I picked it up. This also comes with this special Signature Edition coin, an art book, and the soundtrack. And then there's Play Asia, Defenders of Ekron limited edition, which came with this really big, oversized postcard with all the different characters on it. A certificate to tell you what number your edition is. Mine is 441 out of 1500. A soundtrack and a bumper sticker. I haven't played this one yet, but from what I remember, this one is like a twin-stick shooter. The next one is Vesta limited edition, and this one comes with the game, a manual, an art book, a soundtrack, a comic book, and a certificate to tell you what number your edition is. I do believe this one is another twin-stick shooter. The Coma Recut Limited Edition. It's a horror game that sounds extremely creepy. But this comes with the game, a manual, a soundtrack, and a certificate to let you know what number your edition is. Tachyon Project Limited Edition. This comes with the game, another certificate, the soundtrack, and a manual. I think this is a twin-stick shooter also. Okay, some of these are twin-stick shooters, and I think one of them is just a standard shooter. I cannot remember. Maybe it's Defenders of Ekron is the standard shooter. I can't remember. They all kind of blend together. Yeah. One that I was really excited to get my hands on was Rive, the limited edition. This also comes with a certificate for your limited edition number and a soundtrack. Soundtrack is fantastic because I've actually played this one. It is a side-scrolling tank shooter game, kind of like playing Metal Slug-esque, I guess. And the last one is Bleed and Bleed 2 limited edition. Comes with each game in its own separate case, a soundtrack and a manual and another certificate. These are like side-scrolling run-and-gun games like Contra, but really cartoony. Yeah, and then there's all this limited run game stuff. Yesterday's Origins, Mecho Tales, which is one that I'm kind of wondering why I bought it to begin with, because I really didn't know anything about it. I just bought it because it was there. Super Gun World 2, Claire Extended Cut. This one sounded interesting. It's called Senko no Ronda 2. It's another one of those hybrid games where half of the game is an action-based fighting game and the other half is a shooter. Super Hydra, it's a side-scrolling shmup. Screen Cheat, Skyforce Anniversary. Here's another one that I blind bought. It says it's a game about robots, explosions, lasers, and sadness. Factotum 90. Lethal League, another game that I bought specifically for parties. It's like dodgeball mixed with racquetball, and the characters are so crazy and goofy. Another game that I had no interest in buying initially. Went on YouTube, watched people play it. I ended up watching people play this online for about 2 hours. It just looked like so much fun, and the people that were playing it were having a blast, so I said, you know what? Yeah, I'll pick it up. Here's one game I never thought I'd ever see on a PS4, Windjammers. It's a Neo Geo game where it's like Discs of Tron, but you're actually using frisbees on a beach. It's actually really fun. I actually have this game on one of those repros for my Dreamcast. It's all the SNK Neo Geo games like on one disc. This is the game that I played the most on that. Get to play it in complete HD? Yeah. 2064 Read-Only Memories. Next Machina, which I hear is a twin-stick RPG that's also very cyberpunky. Crawl, which is exactly what it sounds like. Dungeon crawling. Future Unfolding, it's an adventure game. This one just showed up today, actually. Typo Man Revised. It looks like if you were to take Limbo and mix it with Oddworld. The Metronomicon, Slay the Dance Floor. I can't be positive, but I think this is a Dance Dance Revolution fighting game. So you saw that I got that Fallen Legion game for the Vita through Limited Run Games. Well, I also got the other game in the series, Fallen Legion Sins of an Empire. This one is another one where I don't know why I bought it. Hero Blaster. I mean, look at that. What was I thinking? These last two are the ones I was freaking out about the most. I really wanted them the most out of any of the games that I've purchased from Limited Run Games in this video. River City Melee, Battle Royale SP, and Double Dragon 4. I love River City. I wanted to have that for the collection. And definitely wanted Double Dragon because, as you can see, I've been getting all those Double Dragon games all in one video. Oh. And then the last final thing I got. It's a game, but it's not for a console. It's its own separate little thing. Its own separate entity. I saw everybody talking about this online, and I was like, yeah, I played that all the time when I was a little kid in school. I think I kind of need it. You can only get it at Target. The Oregon Trail, little handheld device to play the game. Let's get dysentery and die. So it's shaped like an Apple IIe and a Macintosh kind of, together, but this is not the actual game that I remember playing. This is like this revamped version of it. It has color graphics and is nothing like the one that I played back in the day. Similar. This was like $20 and I got it off the Target website and I said, you know what, I have nostalgic feelings for this game. Was happy that I can get my hands on it. And that's it for this pickups video. So if you've been paying attention to the background throughout this entire video, you'll notice that it was light out when I started and now it is dark out. I started filming this at 5:30 in the afternoon. It is now 10:19. That's how long it takes me to film these damn videos. I hope you enjoy them, because I am actually losing my voice right now. I've been talking for about 4.5 hours. What games have you seen in this video that made you go, God damn, Chris, what the, wow, that is awesome. And which one made you go like, Chris, really, did you really need to buy that? Like that Kiro Blaster thing from Limited Run? Yeah. Let me know in the comments below. What are some of your pickups that you've gotten recently? Make a response video. Let's see a pickups video from people who don't normally make pickup videos. Come on, let's do it. Let's get something going here. So leave any comments below. I hope to hear from you. And until next time, I am Chris, the old-ass retro gamer, signing off. Limited run. No, not limited run. No, not limited run. No, not limited run.